Meeting to order. We are going into standing committee where you have your agenda here, and on the agenda is SR 465, Senator Dolezal. We've got the summaries being passed out as we speak. And Senator Dolezal, I'm going to let you walk us through your fine piece of legislation.
You
can go up there, that's fine. That's where we do all our grandstanding in this committee room.
Hopefully no grandstanding today, Mr. Chairman. I'll also walk you through this resolution. Worked with Legislative Counsel and the Secretary of the Senate's office in developing this, and we are forming, this will look relatively familiar to the way we form study committees in the Senate. And essentially what this resolution does is it forms the Special Committee on Investigations. It empowers that committee of 9 members, 6 from the majority party, 3 from the minority party, to investigate the allegations that have been in the media relative to the Fulton County prosecution I think we're all familiar with. As we know, the state funds about $30 million to the Prosecuting Attorney's Council. About $3 million of that goes to Fulton County. And so what a lot of my constituents have been asking is, how has that money been spent? Is there anything that needs to happen with state law? Was there a conflict of interest here? There's a lot of questions, Mr. Chairman, that are out there in the public, and we are merely going to empower this committee to have those questions answered, and then the committee will be able to, as you see in the final whereas, we'll be able to make recommendations as it relates to legislation that we may need to take as a body to ensure that cases are prosecuted in the state of Georgia as they should be. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions, Mr. Chairman.
I got a question from Senator Beach.
Yeah, Chairman Dolezal, could you talk about lines 50 to 54 with subpoena power and under oath?
Yeah, so we have inherent subpoena power in the Senate. That's codified in law in the code sections that are mentioned there. And obviously, due to the sensitive nature of this topic, what this resolution does is it confers those powers of subpoena and taking testimony under oath to this special committee, very similarly to the way that the Senate does that in the Senate rules to the Ethics Committee. So the Ethics Committee, in the case of ethics complaints being filed, has that same authority. So this committee, for similar reasons, will have the same power that we confer in our rules to the Senate Ethics Committee.
Senator Anderson has a question.
Senator, how soon would this committee be created?
It would be created upon passage on the floor of the Senate. So from here, it would go from standing rules to regular rules. If it makes it out of regular rules, it goes to the floor, and then it goes to the floor. You'll see language in here that gives the Committee on Assignments the authority to make the appointments of the 9 members that I mentioned before. So should this all move through the process, the Committee on Assignments would take that up. It would send letters to those on the committee. Then the chairperson would have the ability at any time to begin to have meetings of that committee.
Thank you.
I
got a quick question on the subpoena. Who enforces that subpoena?
Fulton County Court, in a similar way that the ethics subpoenas would be enforced.
And we've seen in the past where they have chose not to enforce the subpoena. What measures could be taken at that point?
I would leave that to what I think will probably be the legal experts on the committee to help us cross that bridge should we come to it. Certainly hope it doesn't come to that.
Fair enough. Senator Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator Dolezal. Appreciate you bringing this. Just a question. This is a committee that is made, and is there a time frame on this, time limit, or is this in perpetuity, or how is
this
that
would be in effect through this biennium. So this committee would exist as it's formed by this particular Senate chamber. It would go through the end of the year, and then we would need to form a new committee should the Senate choose to do so at the start of next session.
And it would go through the same process again?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
There would always, of course, be the option for the Senate to adopt different rules at the start of the next biennium if they wish to have a committee that was a standing committee in a similar way to our existing standing committees.
Any further questions? All right. Thank you, Senator Dolezal, for that fine presentation. All right, what's the will of the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I move to pass on SR 465.
All right, I got a motion from Senator Beach on the passing of SR 465, LC number 472726. I've got a second from Senator Anderson. Is there any other further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Oh, I can't vote. I'm showing you what to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10 yays. All opposed, same sign. 1, 2, 3. Okay, motion passes. That will go on to the floor and back to rules. All right. Anybody have any other actions they'd like to do and standing while we're here? None? All right. Standing is adjourned. I'm going to call our Rules Committee into order. You've got your yellow sheet here on bills that are available for consideration. So let's start with SB 338. Senator Setzler. The stand is yours.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Rules Committee, bring before you Senate Bill 338. As you may know, the Northern District of Federal Court struck down the 2022 reapportionment plan for the Cobb County Board of Education on December 14th and issued an order that the General Assembly should redraw maps following some prescriptions by the judge that meet consistent reapportionment principles. The initial order said that it should be done and enacted into law by the 10th of January. That's not achievable, of course. A subsequent order was given that would be enacted by the 22nd of January through both chambers and signed by the governor. We also know that's not procedurally possible. That order was to achieve the 22nd of January was struck down in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals last week. There's actually two motions in the 11th that affected the case. But in spite of all of that, we as a legislature have an obligation to enact reapportionment plans that comply with court orders, that comply with the Federal Voting Rights Act, meet consistent reapportionment principles, and that's exactly what you have before you here. Senate Bill 338 is not the map passed by Representative Earhart in 2022. It's not the map passed by any other partisan actor. It is a map that is squarely committed to doing one thing, enacting a map that follows Judge Ross's order and puts in place a map in time for the Cobb County Board of Education to have it be put in place in Cobb by the Board of Elections so that our primary can happen and we can proceed. So I'm asking favorable consideration of this committee. We've taken the time we needed to do this. A lot of work's gone into it. I met for over 3 hours with a bipartisan group of our delegation members the first week of session over 2 separate days. This had 2 hearings in committee, and I offered to the committee. Be glad to take questions.
Any questions from the committee? Thank you, Senator Setzler. Okay. Next up, we got SR 158, Senator Anna Vitarte. In fact, you got a couple here if you want to cover both. That would be appropriate.
Just remember that.
Your mic is hot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. SR 158, this committee voted on last session, basically create a logistics corridor in West Georgia from Heard County up to Walker County. And then I'm going to let Senator Dixon's actually going to present Senate Resolution 344 on the floor if this bill ever gets called up. So I'm going to let our expert of dogs here present it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. SR 344 would recognize May 1st, 2024 as Purebred Dog Day.
Great job.
Thank you.
Really?
Seriously.
Been working hard this off-season, huh? Proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud of you. Did you run that through Education Committee?
No, sir. No, we
Okay.
didn't.
All right.
Be glad to, Mr. Chairman.
Came to the best committee, right?
Can't wait.
Don't forget about the Earth Dog.
Earth dogs. How could we forget about earth dogs? All right. Any questions for either of the authors? Senator Anderson. What are you now?
Senator Dixon, could y'all, the logo for the purebred dogs be a bulldog?
I think that would be purely appropriate here in the state of Georgia.
All right. Go dogs.
There we go.
Go Dogs. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
To Senator Anderson's question, that may force me to have to vote against my own bill if we do that, just for the record.
I'll join you.
Thank you.
Okay. Senator Summers. Did you have something you'd like to talk to the committee about? Yeah, that's how you get a bill passed. Representative Scoggins, would you like to address this fine, august body?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the same bill I presented last year to the committee. This is House Bill 290 LC 500645S. And this is the bill that allows the tax commissioners to contract with municipalities and the county governing authority to collect municipal court taxes for that municipality. And we kind of put a few guidelines on it. We limited the amount of the contract could be for. It could be no greater than 50% of the base pay of the tax commissioner. And it passed out of the House 161 to 1. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Who is the one?
I don't know.
Not worth mentioning their name, huh?
No.
Fair enough. Any questions? Okay, thank you. That one's on the general calendar, and we'll make that available as soon as we can.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other members here that I can't see? Okay, Senator Jones, I missed you on SR 323. I know we covered that in standing, but if you want to give us a brief.
Chairman, it's number 12, and this is to see how we can improve caregiver services, something many of us will have to face, and it's just basically see how the state can improve providing those services to help family caregivers when somebody gets really sick, catastrophically sick, and has to go home and be taken care of.
Good deal. Any questions for the author? Okay. All right. Let's pick a few. So, where am I on my list? Senator Albers, gonna let you have a pick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to pick Senate Bill 338, please.
Okay. Madam Leader, would you like a pick?
SR 323.
What, can you say that again? I'm sorry.
SR 323.
SR 323. And let's do one more. I'm going to let our newest member pick. I'm going a little out of order out of seniority here, but I want to see if he'll pick his own bill. What do you want?
I most certainly will.
Drum roll.
SR 344.
Hold on. Say it again. I want you to say it loud for our people at home.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to pick SR 344.
I can't believe you picked it. Man. Not backing down. I love it. All right. So for the floor tomorrow, we have SB 338, SR 323, and SR 344. I've got a motion from Senator Albers to pass. I got a second from Senator Beach. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimous. We're adjourned. All right, let's